Mr. President, why are you losing to Trump in the polls?
The president quickly escorted into the motorcade where his wife was already sitting. Biden safe after car crashes in a motorcade vehicle at campaign headquarters, but it's the mainstream media using this story to cover for something much larger. The shock should be on everyone's face, not just the man identified as running into that vehicle, allegedly cooperating with Secret Service. No, it's something different. It's something that occurred in this article just prior. If you didn't hear it and if you didn't listen, you missed it. But that's what we're going to cover here today. Now, before we get rolling, do me a huge favor. You know, I take a pause here because I am still in shock and awe over the amount of people who don't realize that they have been unsubscribed from either Lisa's channel or mine. Look below right now. See if you are still subscribed. If you're not, make sure you do. Make sure you get that bell checked to all so you're actually alerted to upcoming broadcast. She'll put a link just above. I always do the wrong hand. She'll put a link just above. If you wouldn't mind, click on that. Get over to my channel. Make sure you subscribe. You know we flip-flop back and forth. But if you want to find us both in one place with no commercials, no interruptions, beholden to no one but our audience, that place is restrictedrepublic.com. Right now, discount code Independence, $4 a month for 2 years plus 14 days for free. It's where you need to get the news that matters. Only the high-level news that matters. Both Lisa Haven and myself broadcasting daily with exclusive content. Man, I can't tell you how that catalog has grown because what you can and can't talk about seems to change every day. Get to restrictedrepublic.com today. Discount code Independence, monthly checkout. But now let's get back to this broadcast. Last I left you, it was with this Wall Street Journal. Biden's agenda hangs in the balance as tough election year approaches. So what is the Wall Street Journal so concerned about? And now, allegedly, what is Barack Obama so concerned about? The landscape is not anywhere near where the Biden administration needs it right now. It was really kicked off by this poll, this 2023 Times Siena poll of the 2024 battleground states back on November 5th, 2023. If you don't know what this entire poll said, then you really missed what has kicked off the campaign and it now appears against Biden. New York Times Siena College polls of 3,662 registered voters in Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin were conducted in English and Spanish on cellular and landline telephones from October 22nd to November 3rd of 2023, plus or minus 1.8 percentage points. Always go through the methodology before we cover these polls because what had happened here is something that no one wanted to see, something that Biden has been unable to fight back against, something that is now getting worse with the Wall Street poll that I'm going to show you in just a second. But this is what tripped everything off. Is the country heading in the right or wrong direction? 67% of respondents saying it is heading in the wrong direction. And why? Well, multiple contributing factors. Obviously, we're going to cover a few here in just a second. If the election was held today, who would you be voting for? Back then, 48% Donald Trump set off the alarm bells. They were ringing everywhere. How could this be? Well, Joe hasn't done really good with his domestic or foreign policy now, has he? Are you definitely or probably voting for him? Well, 32% definitely for Joe, 36% definitely for Donald Trump. I love when they try to just put a little bit of spin on even the polls themselves. It's irrelevant in every respect. If you had to decide between the two today, who would you lean more towards? If this is someone who was not supporting Joe or not supporting Donald, I love this question because in actuality, would they vote for either if they weren't supporting either? But they asked a question to make them make a choice, and it is split 27-27. Those numbers are far different than what we have seen before. So there's no certainty in these polls for the Democrats, and Democrats have cause for concern. Again, what tripped everything off was this poll until we get to what's now breaking news, what's now just changed. You see, the question asked right before that accident is, why are you losing in the polls against Donald Trump? Of course, the mainstream media didn't want that answer to ever come out. So what did they cover? The accident, the crash. Now, here's where you got to watch these polls, and this is how they maneuver things. Very intelligent, by the way. If Joe Biden were not the Democratic nominee, do you think you would? What's the first question? Definitely vote for the Democratic candidate, 30%. But that's not how they asked it in relation to Trump. No, in Trump, they said if Donald Trump were not the Republican nominee, do you think you would definitely vote for Joe Biden? You see how they spin that? Because if they were being fair and equitable, as they like to use, they would have put the same question first, but they didn't. It's a little bit of a spin that they even tried because the poll is so bad for the Democrats, so bad for Joe Biden. And this poll was devastating to the Democrats. It started to reformulate the opinion of many, and now it appears that even Obama is starting to bark that, well, I'm going to get there. And why? Because the policies that the Biden administration has forced upon we, the people, are not being accepted by we, the people. Making it harder for migrants at the southern border to seek asylum in the United States. Would you support or oppose? 31% strongly support, which is against what the Biden administration has demonstrated to date. The majority of people somewhat support. 17 is monster numbers. But again, just the tip of the iceberg. What type of issues are more important in deciding who you vote for in the upcoming election? Societal issues such as abortion, guns, or democracy, or economic issues? And the economic issues take a resounding lead where Biden is failing miserably. When you read this poll, the only place that Biden actually takes a lead is on his stance with abortion. So now let's rocket forward to the new news, the Wall Street Journal poll. Trump takes 2024 lead as Biden approval hits new low. I had to put on my glasses, make sure I didn't misread any of this, but it's actually really easy to read and absolutely devastating for the Biden administration. And there's only 4 graphs to go through. That's how concise. That's how easy. That is how large the margin is now changing. You see Trump continuing to accelerate if the 2024 presidential election were held today and the candidates were Republican Donald Trump and Democrat Joe Biden. For whom would you vote? Man, Biden is tanking quick. Worse than anyone could have expected, but of course he follows policies. It's actually absolutely expected. If the 2024 presidential election were held today, for whom would you vote? Again, Donald J. Trump, 37%. Joe Biden, 31%. I have to go back real quick and just ask the question. When these are saying 46 to 48%, and Biden is sitting in between 44 and 42, I'm not exactly sure how those to correlate. But nonetheless, it is the next 2 charts that make the biggest difference. Have Trump's policies or Biden's policies helped you or hurt you personally? The vast majority of people saying Trump's policies helped them. The vast majority of people saying Biden policies have hurt them. And we wonder why Obama is suddenly rumbling. And then the one that puts it all to bed. You see red is Trump and blue is Biden. I told you that the only place Biden excels is on the abortion issue. On the economy, it's Trump. Inflation, clearly Trump. Crime, border security, Israel, Hamas, all clearly Trump. I think if you listen in the background, you might be able to hear it. You hear someone singing? Because I certainly do. Because this poll just tells you everything you need to know and why Barack Obama is now out, stating that he fears we will and we could lose the White House, which, in my humble opinion, will spell the end of Biden. Now he has too much working against him. The change will shortly be made because they can't survive many more of these articles if they can survive them at all anymore. It's done. They have to make a radical change. The game is, man, it's moving quick. It may even be too late to make a change, and they may simply surrender this one. We're about to find out. We'll continue to cover it with each breaking development. This is truly the news that matters, because this shapes the future of this great republic of the United States of America. I love you all. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless. Justice Knight, signing out.